You know, we all remember Nellie Oleson, the girl who walked into a room like she owned it, hair high, voice louder than necessary, always, dressed like she was going to a ball, even if it was just school, and always ready. With a sharp word for Laura, she called her. Names, spread rumors, once even told. The whole class Laura had cooties, and Willie, her little brother, always covered in dirt. Laughing, getting, yelled at by Mr. Oleson, setting off fireworks in the barn. Yeah, they were the troublemakers of Walnut Grove. The ones we loved to hate. But here's the thing I've realized over the years. They weren't just villains, they were people. Flawed, funny, hurting, and yes, capable of change. Because if you watched long enough, you saw it. Moments when Nellie wasn't so mean, when Willie wasn't just a clown, when they both showed us something quiet but powerful. That people can grow up, even the ones we roll our eyes at. So today, let's talk about them, not as the bad kids of Little House, but as two young people who, over 9 seasons, taught us that no one is beyond kindness. Let's start with Nellie. Played by Alison Arngrim, Nellie was the queen of drama. Spoiled, sassy, always needing to be the center of attention. And honestly, she was awful sometimes. But here's what I think. She wasn't born that way, she was raised that way. Harriet Oleson, her mom, cared about status, about appearances, about never being second best, and Nellie learned fast. She learned that power came from putting others down, that love came from winning, so she played the part, the brat. The bully, the girl everyone talked about, and Alison played her so perfectly, yet with such wild energy, that you couldn't look away even when she was terrible. She was fun to watch. Who else could throw a tantrum over a birthday party and make you laugh while doing it? But then, slowly, things started to change. Not overnight, not with a big speech, but quietly, like a flower pushing through cracked pavement. Remember when Nellie went blind? Temporarily, after that fever, she was terrified. She broke down. She reached for her mom. And in that moment, we didn't see a villain. We saw a scared little girl. And when Laura showed her kindness, after everything Nellie had done, Nellie didn't sneer. She was quiet, humbled, maybe even grateful. Then came Percival Dalton, sweet, shy, rich Percival. When Nellie married him, it was easy to roll your eyes, another spoiled match. But watch closely. Something shifted. Her sharp edges softened. Her voice lost its bite. She started caring, not just about clothes and parties, but about him. She stood by him, protected him, even defended him. And in those moments, you realize Nellie wasn't evil. She was just lost. And now, for the first time, she was learning how to be kind. It wasn't perfect. She still complained, still fussed, but she was trying. And isn't that what growing up is? Not becoming perfect, but becoming better. And Alison Arngrim has said this herself. People think I played a monster, but Nellie wasn't all bad. She just didn't know how to be good. And that hit me hard. Because it's true, Nellie wasn't a villain. He was a kid raised in a world that rewarded cruelty and punished vulnerability. And her journey, from spoiled brat to loving wife, is one of the show's quietest, most meaningful arcs. Now, let's talk about her brother. Willie Oleson. Willie was different. He wasn't cruel, he wasn't manipulative, but he was always there, usually laughing, covered in mud or getting scolded by his dad. Played by Jonathan Gilbert. Yes, Melissa Gilbert's real-life brother. Willie was the goofy kid who lived to cause chaos. Frogs in the schoolhouse, Pa's hat missing, fireworks in the barn. But, unlike Nellie, his mischief wasn't meant to hurt. It was just fun. He wanted attention. He wanted to make people laugh. And honestly, we needed that because Little House dealt with heavy stuff, death, blindness, poverty, and sometimes we needed Willie to break the tension with a well-timed prank. But here's what's beautiful about Willie. He grew up, not in a flashy way. No grand speeches, no dramatic turning point, but quietly, like a sapling stretching toward the sun. As the series went on, Willie became more responsible. He helped his dad in the mercantile. He stood up for his sister, even when she didn't deserve it, and in later seasons, we see him building a life of his own, working, earning respect, falling in love, eventually settling down. And when you see grown-up Willie, calm, steady, proud, it hits you. This wasn't just a joke character. He was on a journey, one we didn't notice until it was done. And Jonathan Gilbert played it with such sincerity, not trying to steal scenes, but just being Willie funny loyal, little dumb sometimes, but good-hearted, and that's why fans still love him, because he wasn't perfect, but he tried, and he changed. And isn't that what we all hope for? Now, let's talk about something important. Their good side. Because here's the truth about Nellie and Willie. They weren't one-dimensional. They weren't just the Olesons. They were flawed, funny, and human. And that's what made them unforgettable. Yes, Nellie was selfish. Yes, Willie was annoying. But they also brought life to Walnut Grove. Without them, the town would have felt too perfect, too peaceful, too quiet, and the Ingalls family needed them, not just as rivals, but as contrast. Because without Nellie's pride, how would we appreciate Laura's humility? Without Willie's chaos, how would we value Albert's quiet strength? They were the spice, the fire, the reminder that not everyone grows up gentle. But that doesn't mean they can't grow, and the show knew that, which is why it gave them redemption arcs. Not forced, not preachy, but earned. Nellie learning to love, Willie learning to lead, and both proving that change is possible, even for the ones we write off. And let's not forget the actors. Alison Arngrim didn't just play Nellie. She survived a painful childhood, abused, silenced, used by people in Hollywood, and yet she turned Nellie into something legendary, not just a character, a cultural icon, and today she speaks openly, with humor, grace, and strength, about trauma, healing, and forgiveness. She says, "Nellie saved me. She gave me a voice when I didn't have one." And Jonathan Gilbert, though less in the spotlight, lived a quiet, grounded life after the show. No scandals, no headlines, just peace. And that, in its own way, is a victory. Because both actors, like their characters, grew, changed, healed. So the next time you watch Nellie stomp her foot and scream, "Daddy!" or Willie run off with a stolen pie, don't just see the trouble. See the potential, the journey, the fact that no one is beyond redemption. Because Little House on the Prairie wasn't just about perfect families, it was about real ones, with flaws, with pain, with people who mess up and try again. And Nellie and Willie, they were proof that even the loudest, proudest, goofiest among us can learn to be good, can find love, can grow up. And that's not just a lesson for the Prairie, it's one for all of us. So yes, Nellie and Willie were troublemakers, but they were also teachers. And maybe they were some of the most human characters of all.